The first episode of the smash hit show The Comment Section has aired with its new host, Reagan Conrad, and it has the audience rather divided, with a large portion unsubscribing for the channel. For those that aren't familiar, Brett Cooper was a star personality for the Daily Wire, hosting a channel with about 4.5 million subscribers, giving cultural commentary, a show much bigger than this one, so I assume most of you know all about this. Now, in response to the launch of this first episode with Reagan, it has once again reignited the conversation about what happened with Brett, why she left the Daily Wire, was she forced to leave, and what's really going on. With rumors abound across the internet over her next move, I am going to get into the nitty-gritty of what the industry is talking about and probably piss off a lot of people. But it's a slow news day, and here I am talking about drama. But to be fair, a big component of my fears moving into the next couple of years is the media war. My friends, we have won the political battle, but it is just a battle in the culture war. That is, Donald Trump winning is a big boon for populists in general. With RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, etc., you have moderate-leaning individuals, left liberal types, who have come to the populist side to join Donald Trump. That was our doing. I have no problem taking partial credit, along with all of you, the viewers, and granting majority credit to all of the other shows substantially bigger than mine and smaller even, but just everybody. What I mean to say is we all deserve a little bit of credit for being active in the space, spreading the word, sharing these videos, and telling people the truth. But now that that battle is over, we are moving into a new battle. The big corporate players are absolutely about to enter the space, and they are going to try to crush us. I think it is entirely reasonable that in 6 months, you are going to hear about lucrative contracts being launched with big liberal podcasters. This is the game they play, and they have the infrastructure to do it. Now, my friends, I'm hoping that we see an inverse. I'm hoping that powerful players on the right are also willing to fund a communication ecosystem. We're lucky. This is a channel that I built up entirely on my own. From the beginning, all of the shows that I've created, it's just me running this company and then gradually bringing people on. I've long said that I feel like, I have hit my head in terms of what more can we do. There's only so much I can do hosting 2 big shows. This is why this story matters. If there is, first of all, I'll just say this. Brett Cooper leaving, it sucks. Everybody liked the show, and she was the principal host, so leaving, it does kind of suck. But Reagan's great. And if you're going to get 2 shows now, it's good for the space, though I do get people being upset. But I think it's important to state that I don't understand why we're going to have this conflict on this side. It shouldn't exist. We can certainly share ideas, disagree where we disagree. But if we, regardless of your politics even, the liberal personalities are begging for corporate intervention. And that's terrifying. And I don't mean just corporations. I mean the big machine state players. These people are going on X, these liberals, and they're saying, why won't the Democratic mega donors give me money? And I'm like, oh boy, there's a lot of independent creators. A lot of moves are being made with Rumble, the Daily Wire, and a few other big podcast networks. I can give a shout out to all of them. You've got Westwood, you've got, I think, Live One, Podcast One. You've got Libsyn. Who am I forgetting? Did I say Red Seat, Westwood? All of these big networks are starting to make moves because we can see exactly where the media landscape is going. If you and I screw this one up, if the right moves are not made, it's going to be right back to the corporate uniparty narrative. And so that's why I think these stories are really important. And that being said, let me utilize this opportunity talking about Reagan and the drama around Brett Cooper to actually talk about the nitty-gritty of contracts in media and the reality of what media is. There's this great movie with Rodney Dangerfield. What was it called? Back to School, I think it was. Let me make sure. Was it Back to School? Do you guys know that one? Is that, yep, Back to School, 1986. The movie came out the year I was born. Let me see when, what month did this come out? Because I wonder if it was before I was born. No, okay, a couple months after I was born. So anyway, in this movie, Rodney Dangerfield is a very successful businessman. And he wants to finish college. So he goes there. And there's this great scene where he's sitting there and the professor is telling all of the students about how to run a business and widgets. And he's like, what are you talking about? That's not how it works. He's like, you're going to have to, look, you're going to have the tax guy show up and he's going to tell you this, that, or otherwise. And then you got to grease this guy's fingers. Otherwise, he's going to cause you problems. And all the students start listening to him. I love that scene. Basically, what we have right now is there's a lot of people who work in big companies who are never going to tell you the truth. for a variety of reasons. I think a lot of these people are rather plastic. They work at the agencies. They don't know. They don't care. They want their paycheck. And what matter is it to you? Then you've got a lot of people who are outside the system, who think everything is evil and nefarious. And then you get me. Not just me, but here I am. I run a company. I have no bosses. We have clients and contracts, but I am going to express to you the inner workings to the best of my ability, as I've been doing for some time now. So let's start here with this video from Reagan, the new host of the comment section. And she basically lays out Brett Cooper leaving and all of this stuff. Now, my response to this was, it all just seems like obvious contract stuff to me. I assume Brett wanted more money. Daily Wire didn't want to pay more money. Impasse. I don't get why anyone would be mad. It's not like Brett can't keep doing videos. Now you get another show in the cultural space. I'm just going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to piss everybody off as I do it. So everybody working in the media going, oh, crap. Tim's in. Oh, here we go. Yeah, sorry, guys. Let me play a little bit of this video for you, and so you can understand the gist of what we're seeing right now, and Reagan intros the show.
Welcome to a new chapter of the comment section, and I am your new host, Reagan Conrad. Now, some of you are probably asking, who is this chick? Where is Brett? What is going on? And those are all very valid questions. So before we get into today's episode, I want to just recap a few things with you all. Now, many of you have known me as producer Reagan. I've been working on this show for almost 3 years now. I started with Daily Wire fresh out of college with a journalism degree and a resume full of social media work. And prior to applying here, I was listening to Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles literally every day because they were the voices online echoing my thoughts and my values and my beliefs. So I decided to apply to the Daily Wire. And I got a job and I moved across the country from Pennsylvania to Nashville, and I've been here ever since. Now, funnily enough, my first job at this company was actually posting the Facebook videos for this brand new show called The Comment Section. And from there, I fell in love with this show and with this team. And I basically became an associate producer for a time, and then I became the producer. And even recently, you've probably seen me guest hosting on Fridays. So while I may feel like a stranger to most of you watching this video, I've been behind the scenes for years getting to know all of you. Now, over the last few weeks, the internet, as we so often cover on the show, has been the internet. And the comment sections have certainly been comment sectioning away. I mean, it's literally part of my job to read your comments, and so I know what's being said. And the one thing that is rightfully concerning many of you is the thought that Brett may have been forced out. I can assure you that that is not the case, and it is simply untrue. I mean, as Brett said herself in her final episode, and I would highly encourage every single one of you who has not yet seen that video to go watch that video, and also go watch and support and love on anything that Brett does coming up in the future, because I know that it will be amazing. It was Brett's decision to leave the show and move on to a new adventure, which she is very excited about, and all of you should be very excited for what's to come. And in saying all of that, it is an enormous honor for me, truly beyond my...
So there you go. There's a few things in that I think are interesting, and we can talk about the inner workings. It is very much... I don't see a reality where it was not Brett's decision to leave. So she says that she was not forced out of the company. I'll tell you my thoughts. In a contract negotiation, likely what happens is the Daily Wire says, we've invested a lot of money in this show. Here's how much the host position will pay. We want these ads to be read. But you may have noticed that Reagan said you can see her guest hosting on Fridays. I wonder for what reason Brett Cooper may not have been there on Fridays. Honestly, I have no idea, and I'm probably not correct in assessing what actually did happen. I can only tell you about the generalities of media. So outside of the context of Brett, I can say in a normal circumstance where you get a guest host on Fridays, that usually implies that the talent is requesting time off for one reason or another, or being given other duties. Thus, you bring in a guest host. Usually, when it comes down to contract negotiations, which I believe is what was happening here, the simple thing is, if the company says, here's the position and here's the offer, and you say, no, that's your choice to leave. No one's forcing you out. No one's forcing you to accept an agreement you don't want. It is not forcing someone out to offer them a different deal. Now, that being said, if there was an instance where the Daily Wire told Brett Cooper they would be reducing her pay and saying, we're actually going to pay you less now, take it or leave it. And then she's like, well, I can't afford that. I have no choice but to go. That would make sense. But that is usually never the case. And I've never actually seen a circumstance of this. It's just not something that happens. Usually they'll just say, look, we're going to keep you where you are. And that's pretty bad for someone who's hosting a show that's massively successful in contract negotiations. So I'm not convinced that that's actually the case. What seems to be more likely is that Brett asked for more money than they were willing to give her, and she didn't want to do it. There's probably some interpersonal drama related to other individuals as well, but I don't know. These things usually happen. When I worked for Fusion, I actually tried breaking the contract early. Nobody knew anything. Why? It wasn't because I was under NDA. So let me show you some comments. Candace Owens is chiming in. Sailor Not Jerry says, I think the anger largely comes from the fallout with Candace, on top of the fact that they replaced her with her maid of honor. Could have been given Brett's blessing too, though. We'll never know due to NDAs. Wrong, I say. So let's talk about this. NDAs are not the issue. Not at all. NDAs may as well be nothing but formalities. And anybody who works in media who claims otherwise, I just think is being silly. Now, what I would say is the reporting going around is that Brett Cooper unfollowed the Daily Wire crew and Reagan. So it seems like they're not too much friends anymore. Here's my assessment. Brett Cooper wanted more money. The Daily Wire said, we're not going to give you more money. Brett Cooper says, then who's going to host the show? They said, Reagan will host the show. And she goes, what? Reagan basically undermining Brett's negotiating position, but the Daily Wire maintaining theirs. It is a show we launched that we spent the money on, and we're willing to have a new host for the show. The show, you may be the host of the show, but shows can change. Now, on the internet, it's a bold move, really, because, come on. If I stopped hosting this show, are you going to watch whoever's hosting it? Timcast, starring John Smith. You'd be like, no, just go watch Tim somewhere else. Well, that being said, the Daily Wire is spending the money on hosting and building this show. You're not losing Brett Cooper. That's why I'm like, so what? What's the anger about? Brett says, okay, guys, I'm not going to host your show anymore. I'm going to host mine. Launches her own YouTube channel, has 270,000 subs or whatever by now. So you are not losing Brett Cooper. The Daily Wire literally promoted this personality and helped build up their show, and you will get that forever. People are mad, I guess, because people want to be. I don't know. I understand that if you don't know what's going on, you may be like, hey, I love this show. Why is Brett leaving? But Brett's going to keep doing it. It's not over. Now you're getting two shows. And those are like Reagan can watch Reagan. If those are like Brett can watch Brett. So my response to this was NDAs are mutual and you won't know because neither party wants to say, because neither party wants to go to war publicly. NDAs are an excuse drama people use to create mystery. At any time, Brett could say anything she wants. Fact. Sorry. Candace says, respectfully, I feel like you shouldn't speak for Brett or what she can and can't do unless you've spoken to her. Oh, mio mayo. Candace, I'm not speaking for Brett. I'm speaking on NDAs in general. Brett could say anything she wants. I'm saying that generally speaking, because she is physically capable of doing it. The question is the damage from fallout in this situation worth it? Now, I would ask, what is the political damage? What is the financial damage and the legal risk to breaking an NDA? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. And the reason why I say NDAs are mutual and usually they're just used by people for drama. If I refuse to violate an NDA, it's because I'm respecting the privacy of the other individual and we have a formality of an agreement. Rest assured, anybody sufficiently knifed in the back would say, I don't care about an NDA because the damage you will receive from the press is substantial. And that's going to put the weaker party in a crisis point. This is PR 101. Okay, maybe not 101, but maybe 104 or something. If I do a deal with somebody and I say, I'm going to give you this here delicious grapefruit spindrift in exchange for $5. And I give it to you. And then at some point you refuse to pay me. And you say, can't tell anybody because you got an NDA. I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, buddy. You want to go to war with me and put a knife in my back? Let's see how you handle the fire. And the Daily Wire does not have the same kind of PR ammunition as a scorned host. Meaning, Candace, as respects to her NDA, and Brett in respects to her NDA, and any of the existing talent at Daily Wire, it's simply, it is not worth going to war over this. That's it. If the people really needed to know and deserved to know, and the crisis was such a point, rest assured, anybody would just be like, let's go, baby. And I'll give you an example. The famous story about corporate lawsuits has to do with a couple that was protesting outside of a McDonald's. McDonald's sued them for defamation and won, and then lost like millions of dollars in stock value because it looked really bad to do this. The idea that someone could publicly come out and defame you, violating their NDA, and then you would sue them only exacerbates the problem if you're in a weak position. So again, my response is there's more to law than just what is written down. There is the court of public opinion and whether the conflict is worth escalating. And basically the gist of it is it's not worth escalating. Common Sense Custodian responded, once you send an NDA, you cannot just go around breaking it. It's an agreement contract, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. What? So let me tell you a story, my friends, about when I was a wee young lad, and I was at my friend's house, or I went to my friend's house, knocked on the door, and I said, "Hey, let's go skateboard." And he's like, "I can't, I'm grounded." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's go skateboard." And he was like, "I can't, I'm grounded." And I'm like, "Your parents aren't even home." And he's like, "Yeah, but they told me I'm grounded." And I'm like, "What would happen if you went outside to skate right now?" And like, I'd get in more trouble. I get grounded longer. And I was like, "So they would ground you longer?" "Yeah, okay. What would happen if they grounded you longer and then you went out and skateboarded again?" And he was like, "I don't know. They'd ground me longer." And I was like, I don't know that you're following my logic here. Just grounding you is not, it's an invisible wall. When you sign an NDA, you are not supposed to break it. There's legal ramifications. However, what I'm hearing from the rumor mill is that there's an arbitration clause putting her into arbitration instead of court, and she's under NDA, she can't speak. Okay. I'm going to say it again. The reality here is, and it's not for Brett specifically, but I will say of Candace and Brett, if they wanted to tell you and they thought it was worth doing, they would. I think the issue is the public opinion backlash is substantial. It would be too great for anyone to want to be involved in. If Brett Cooper was really screwed over by this move to a large degree, she'd tell you. Now, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of the media industry in a way that's probably going to piss a lot of people off, especially big fans of Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper, let me pull up her ex. I'm sorry, I'm going to pull up her new YouTube channel. And, mention it because I think you guys, if you want to follow her, you definitely should. She has 281,000 subscribers on her new channel. And I hope this advice is well taken and could benefit Brett in the future, but I know that a lot of people are going to be unhappy to hear. We call this algorithmic death in the industry. I've had a conversation with a ton of people who work ad sales. We've been obviously in contract negotiations with like a ton of different companies as we do sales. I know a lot of people who work in the industry. I know a lot of people who work at these social media companies themselves. When you launch a new channel and you have no content on it, and you instantly get a massive influx of subscribers, and you don't put any content on it, this usually locks you out. It's not a guarantee, but it creates a serious crisis point. I'm trying to be nice as I say this, but it's bad. It is a bad move. The way the YouTube algorithm works, it's pretty rough. And it changes all the time. But a lot of creators, YouTubers, have talked about something like this for quite a bit, where the challenge of YouTube, let's take the animation community, for example. Animators work for months to make a single video. Well, the YouTube algorithm prioritizes consistency, watch time, viewership, retention, like these things. What percentage of the video are you watching? How many minutes are you watching? How frequently are you watching? And if you're not producing videos, that drops dramatically and you disappear from the algorithm. How did I get started? Well, a lot of people say, "Tim, you are so talented. You just talk and you don't need a script and it's all off the top of your head and all that stuff." Yeah, but sure, there's an upper limit to what I can do. I mean, there are channels that grow way faster than mine. Brett Cooper's got a way bigger channel than me. Maybe a team would do me well. But in the early days of YouTube, what greatly benefited me was that I was producing 6 clips on this channel every single day, as I largely do now, but every day, no weekends, no days off. What does that mean? Only so many videos can appear on the front page of YouTube at one time. I believe it's around 15 on average. That means if I'm producing 6 per day and you watch one with a decent amount of watch time, when you go to your front page with, how many am I pulling off? 42 videos per week. You are likely going to see one of my videos in your top feed, and it's going to shut everyone else out. Consider each video a lottery ticket. And YouTube will display a handful of videos saying who gets the best watch time, who has the highest retention, and who gets the more views than anybody else. So me producing all this content en masse is nuts. Somebody who produces 1 video per day is buying 1 lotto ticket, 1 raffle ticket, and I'm buying 6. My chance of displaying on the front page is 6 times higher than yours, meaning that when everyone starts clicking, you start disappearing. It's not just that me making more videos makes me appear more often, but because I'm making more videos and because I'm appearing more often, I'm getting clicked more often. YouTube then says of these channels that don't produce to the same degree, sorry, you don't cut it. You are not working as hard. It's the ever speeding up treadmill. This phenomenon was described over 10 years ago, 13 years ago, by prominent YouTubers in the early days of YouTube. So what I will say right now, and then I hope this helps Brett and her team and whatever she ends up doing, because I want to see her succeed. Absolutely. You need to get videos up ASAP, and you need to utilize this PR bump to the maximum degree. Otherwise, what happens is the subscribers that have subscribed to this channel right now are going to turn into dead subs, which create a barrier for you. So everybody thinks they know how the algorithm works, and I'm probably skimming through this, and there's probably a lot of areas where I'm incorrect. The general idea that's largely accepted by the industry is if you have 100 subscribers and 100 of them watch every single video, your videos will get promoted more to new viewers in the algorithm, especially as a new channel. So your view count will be higher than your subscriber count for a period of time. However, when you have subscribers who do not watch the videos, either because you don't make them or because they're bad, YouTube will not show any new videos to these individuals. An example of this is my channel, youtube.com/Timcast. The original channel that I started with all of my original content, vlogs or otherwise, and I produced one video every day at 4 p.m., was averaging around, it varied by the year, but I was getting upwards of 500,000 in 2020. 500,000 views on one video on that channel. Well, we converted that channel to the Culture War, as I thought it would make more sense to consolidate all of my views onto one channel, all of my videos, because it was a bit redundant with the Timcast and Timcast News. And I said, I'll just go to this one. Now this channel's actually bigger. When we do the Culture War, the content is different, and there are a lot of people who aren't getting the daily content the way they used to. What happens? Despite having 1.4 million subscribers, the live shows may end up averaging only 100 to 200,000 views, depending. But what happened? I used to get 400,000 or 500,000. Well, a variety of things. The content style is different. So a subscriber who used to watch a video that was like this, now seeing a conversation show, says, I'm tuning out. Many people weren't getting the content for some period of time because we had a license agreement for a while and only clips were going up. This creates what's called dead subscribers. Dead subscribers are subscribed to your channel, but YouTube will never show them the video, so there's no way to pull out of a death spiral because it's percentage-based. YouTubers a long time ago reverse engineered the algorithm, and they came to believe, again, may not be true, but this is largely what the industry believes, that you need to get around 9% of your subscriber base to watch your videos. Otherwise, YouTube will stop recommending your videos in large. If YouTube doesn't show your video to an existing subscriber anymore and they don't watch, then your percentage gap is huge. Meaning, with 281,000 subscribers, Brett's going to need to get every single one of them to watch the first few videos she does. Otherwise, if the video count is low, YouTube will say, out of 300,000 subscribers, only X amount watched. Oof. Algorithm says, in the gutter you go. There is a bonus you get to being a new channel that gains a bunch of video views and subscribers, but it has to be done in concert. So Brett would need to have launched a video alongside these new subs immediately to make sure they don't go dormant. I'm not saying I know what's going to happen. I wish her the best. And I think with the right team behind her, she will be largely successful. I will also add that I'm pretty sure everyone in the industry already knows exactly what she's going to do. It's not my place to say, but pretty sure everybody in the industry already knows because these people pay lots of money to know exactly what's going on. And information is easy to come by. Look, let me wrap it up by saying this. The contract stuff is an excuse that I largely believe there are people who want to generate attention. They want to generate attention, so they say, oh, it's an NDA in arbitration, so they can't really say. Look, man, what game of chicken do you want to play? I don't think the issue behind the scenes is that bad. I think it's acrimonious, but I think both parties have decided to make this move. The Daily Wire knew what they wanted to do, and Brett Cooper wanted something different, and they were at an impasse. They're not going to work together. I hope Brett finds the best of success with her channel, and assuming I'm correct on how the algorithm works, it's largely what the industry believes, but maybe I'm wrong. I hope that it's taken to heart, and she launches her videos as soon as she can to get things going and find success. I think her first video will be massive when she's back, and I hope it happens soon to avoid any dead subscribers or algorithmic death scenarios. Or I'm wrong. Ignore me. Whatever. Don't tell me. I won't tell you what to do. But I do really believe that if there was such a catastrophe behind the scenes where Brett was forced out, was knifed in the back, or anything like that, she'd say it. Let's put it this way. Company A offers a deal to podcast host. Host gets betrayed, salary dropped, unkept promises, forced to do things they don't want to do, severs. Yeah, that person losing that lucrative show and contract, $5 million access, is not just going to be like, I guess I lose. They're going to say, wait till everyone finds out what you did. And they'll say, you can't do that. You have an NDA. And they'll be like, let me know when you want to go to court over me breaking the NDA. Yeah, I just don't believe it. You can speak physically. It's a question of, is the war worth it? Now, you may say, as people are saying, Daily Wire has unlimited funds and they can do all of these things. Look at Alex Jones. It's not good to be in that situation, but who's he up against? Democrats? A scenario where the Daily Wire pulls an Alex Jones-style lawsuit against any of its talent would be the end of the Daily Wire. So a lot of people are saying it's fishy, and I'm like, guys, it's not fishy. It's not. This is one of the challenges that we have behind the scenes. And, I talk to people all the time about contracts and NDAs and stuff. And when people say like, oh, because of NDAs, they can't do anything, I'm like, dude, I have been knifed in the back way too many times by people violating their NDAs. And then the judge says, I'm going to tell you this right now. I have had people break NDAs and the judge goes, well, who cares? And I'm just sitting here with all this money and these lawyers, and they go, sorry, Tim, you can't do anything about it. And I'm like, stop saying NDAs are anything. But anyway, slow news day, huh? Welcome to the internet drama. I love the media industry, and I love talking shop, and I hope this has been informative. I'll wrap it up there. We got more segments coming up, I guess. And I got to be honest, like maybe not. Some of this news is just too light. We might save it for Timcast IRL. I'm just not the kind of person who's going to try and squeeze out things I'm not interested in talking about. I'm not going to do a segment on something that I find uninteresting. This I find genuinely interesting. I'd probably talk for 2 more hours on it. But I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Smash the like button. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, and we'll see you all in the next segment.